for everyone that doesn't know, this is Fred Biggie Smalls. He turned pro in 2010, two-time NCAA powerlifting champion, 1997 world's #1 total among all 220-pound lifters under 24 years old, and three-time Mr. Olympia competitor. Getting right into what you're up to now, tell us about the Philly Iron Classic going on April 19th.
I'm super excited about it, man. We were only supposed to be doing the Delaware state championships and the Biggie Smalls Classic, but then the former promoter dropped out last minute, and I knew I had like 4 people getting ready for the Philly, and it's always been it's always in the area. I wanted that show too, so I talked to Gary Udit, and he let me have it, and we kind of got it at the 11th hour, but it's we're going to take it on, do the best we can with it. It's got an amazing venue. We have an after party for the athletes. We have amazing awards. Like the medals are bigger than what you typically see. They're closer to the Arnold Classic size medals. And they're authentically like gold, silver, bronze, and pewter for 4th and 5th. We have all categories. We are, it's just, we're doing everything to make sure the competitor has a great experience. So I'm super excited about that.
How many divisions do you have?
All of them. We have the 3 men's, and I believe there's 7 women's. We have all of them.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And for clarification, is this a national qualifier for those competitors that do win the overall?
Yep. National qualifier, and they get a championship overall belt to go with it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So how many competitors are you expecting?
I'm expecting 75 based on the coaches I've talked to, the gyms I've talked to, and the people we already have registered. I'm expecting about 75 competitors, which would be awesome for our first event. So I'm excited. I mean, like, this area really hasn't had in the Philly area, like the Lehigh Valley area, Iron with Sharpens Iron Productions has done an amazing job with those 3 shows up there. The Big Cat, the Lehigh, and the Ultimate Physique show. But Philly, Delaware, the shows haven't done that well recently. And when I was growing up as a kid, it was a big deal to be Mr. Delaware. At one point, the Philadelphia had, upwards of 100-something competitors. And I just kind of want to bring that vibe back, because the last few years, if there wasn't even 30 competitors in the show, the Delaware last year, the whole show from start to finish was 16 minutes. And it's just a shame, because there are, 2 prevalent bodybuilding gyms in the area right here. And you have all the gyms and there's so many gyms popping up with competitors in them. There's no reason to not come to Delaware to check it out and competing. It's especially. So I think the event has been held in some smaller venues. The venues we have, one ballroom is 11,000 square feet. Another one is about 9,000 square feet. So it's going to be nice, man. I mean, it's going to be like, you're going to feel like you're in a competition. You're going to feel like the promoter cares. You're going to feel like you're respected. And, I was blessed enough to travel all over the world guest posing for different events. And so I really kind of saw what I want my shows to represent.
Did you get like a feel or like a sneak peek at the competitors that are competing? Are there any competitors that stand out so far?
We have, I've been getting some DMs. I've been getting some tags, and there's a really good men's physique competitor coming. There's some other female competitors coming. So the ones that have signed up, they're all quality, man. Like what I always say is this, right? And here's the thing: this is the only sport where people believe like everybody's got to be a rock star on stage. Like, you go in and people try volleyball, they try men's league or women's league, flag football, and all this stuff, and everybody's not expected to be a rock star. So whether you're the guy who's going to win or the guy who looks really good and for himself, right? Or the female who has just lost 100 pounds and wants to show it. I believe everybody should be respected for getting on that stage. And and you only everybody that's even at the Olympia stage, your first show compared to what they look like now is you're like, what were they thinking? But now, with some seasoning, with some nurturing, with some guidance, they look great. And I believe this sport is great for everybody because it makes you healthier, and the level of mental empowerment you get from competing and finishing it is something that nobody can take from you. It's a unbelievable sport because there's just a finish. Even if you're not the best guy on stage, just to finish is a win. So from the standpoint of putting on a competition, I just want everybody to feel respected and feel like like whether you're just doing it for the first time or you're a seasoned competitor, you're gonna have a great experience.
Yeah, what you said really resonated with me because I fought hard to get on stage myself. I
Right.
had I had to I wanted to prep for the Daytona Pro-Am in 2023. I had to drop out because of some serious health issues,
Right.
and because of that, I had no off season. I was in and out of the hospital. Um, but I said on my birthday, screw it. I I need to do this. I
Yeah.
need to do this. I'm now not doing it because somebody else told me to, which was
Right.
the case in 2023. This is something I can now confidently say I'm doing this for me, myself, and I.
Right.
And when people ask me what stepping on stage for the first time is like, I am not exaggerating when I tell people, as a faithful man, it is the closest feeling to heaven I have ever experienced in my entire life, and I've never experienced so much happiness and fulfillment like crossing that finish line, like stepping on stage.
Yeah, it's like a dream, right? It's like your first time on stage. I still remember I did my first show in 1994. Obviously, you were not alive, um, but but I did my first show in 1994, and I still can remember walking on stage and feeling like it wasn't real, right? Because
Mhm.
it was like you put all this effort, all this energy, all this sacrifice into something, and you're up there, and like I said, if you looked at me then, you'd be like, I think he has four abs or something, but you know, I felt on top of the world, because I felt like it was the best I'd ever looked, and ended up taking second out of like 16, 17 teenagers, and it's different now. Like teenagers aren't doing as many shows, but back then it was a big deal to do a teenage show.
Mhm.
So
And going from your first competition to your last, do you have a favorite show?
the Arnold Brazil, the first time I did it, man, it was 2013. Nobody expected that much from me, and it was like I walked out and was dead center, first call out. And then, on one side's Brandon Curry, Tony Freeman, Hida Tada. Like these guys had placed in the top six at the Arnold's, and I was dead center in the middle of them. And, for various reasons, I believe I should have won that show. And Dennis James comes backstage after and goes, because I end up getting fifth. And Dennis James goes, you guys need to buy Fred a dinner or something because they stole him. But I looked crazy. Like I was so full, so big, shredded, and I just felt amazing. And then the other time was obviously when I won the Dallas. That was amazing. But that was kind of like I walked in and knew I was going to win. Like I was just Sean Ray. I just take third at the Toronto. I just taken seventh at Arnold Brazil, and it was just like getting better every show. And I walked in and Sean Ray did this interview and he's like, how do you think you're going to do? I'm like, I'm winning. And he said, well, I mean, Tony Freeman's here, there's so Akeem Williams is here. Like, you know, I mean, is this a good look for you? Like if you don't win. And I walked in, it was like, they put me dead center and then moved me out of the center and judged everybody else. It was just like lights out. And that was the best all around look I've had, so.
With your posing routines on stage, how did you come up with like your breakdancing style?
I was a minor in college in dance, and I had been choreographing routines since I was a junior in high school. So, and I used to, me and my boys would like put our moves together on Friday night and go to the club Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and battle other crews, whether it was in Philly, Baltimore. We went to Myrtle Beach a lot and did stuff. Um, so I mean, I've always been a dancer and always enjoyed dancing. And I remember John Kemper, the late great John Kemper, used to own Diamond Gym. He came up to me and goes, "That's not going to translate into the IFBB." And I just looked at him and said, "Then I'm not doing it." Because the reason why I picked bodybuilding is because when I would have dance recitals, my father wouldn't really come, right? He wouldn't make it. But when I had powerlifting events, he never missed it. And you know, so I would do these powerlifting events, and it was like macho, manly, and he would be at all of them. Um, but when it came to like the dance things, like that was just as much effort, just as much work, sometimes more work, and he wouldn't come. And then like bodybuilding kind of let me combine both. And I fell in love with Flex Wheeler's physique when I was still in high school, um, at his first Olympia, and I remember going, that would be kind of cool. But then when I did bodybuilding shows, my dad would come, and then I'd be able to perform. And I was like, this is the best of both worlds. I can be strong, I can be muscular, and I can perform. So it's the best of both worlds. And as much as people were like, "Oh, that's not the way you should pose," I got I got asked to come everywhere around the globe. Like meaning whether it was the Middle East, all the way over to Australia, to the Caribbean, I was everywhere. Asia, for the military. I mean, I've gotten some amazing experiences because I can pose the way I pose.
With this newer generation, especially the show coming up, um, are you what are you expecting or hoping for from the newer generation at your show? Either it's posing, conditioning. What would, in an ideal world, would you like to see come back or something new?
Um, I mean, honestly, it's a twofold question. Like, I would like to be one day say that guy started out at my show and he won and got his pro card, right? Um, that's ideally for a promoter what you want, right? Like you want the quality of guys to keep getting better year after year. And I think we're going to have some really good guys this time. I think we're going to have some really good women. So but my main objective for this show is I want people to walk away saying it was well run. He took care of the competitors. It wasn't too long. The show wasn't too long, and it was a good production. I want people to feel like the lighting was great. I want people to feel like the awards given to the athletes was well worth it and really outstanding. And I want people to be able to sit down at the after party that we're having for everyone and say, and be able to enjoy it. So that, like the after party for the athletes, full buffet is free. And so I'm giving back. I mean, everybody knows one of the best part of the show is being able to eat afterwards, and we're going to have some really great food there. So,
Mm, amazing. When it comes to, I wanted to bring this up, amateur competitors conditioning. Um, do you feel like people aren't dieting as hard or they're implementing new stuff to where back in your day the conditioning just wasn't the same? Um, are you hoping for somebody at that show to bring that back, or are they already on track to do so?
I think people's have misconceptions of what it was. Like, I went to the '98 Olympia. Um, I saw Lee Priest in 1995 guest pose. I saw um, the Junior USA in 1996 when Kevin Laverne guest pose, and I remember thinking, God, no one's ever been that big, and to this day, I don't feel like I've seen anyone with that type of lat spread when they did it, right? But that's not true with the perception I was looking through. Um, so what I feel is this: I think back then, the audience didn't see everything. I think they saw what was given to them. So look at it from this perspective. Nick Walker posts an update every week and then stops at 6 weeks out this year. He gets on stage, nobody knows what to expect, and they're like, he looks crazy. Could you imagine if he hadn't posted all year and you only got to see what he put on stage? How much of a wow factor would that be if you never saw anybody? But now you
It'd
see
be.
everybody. You see everybody.
Hmm.
So I don't understand. Um, I don't understand why everyone talks about like, oh, the conditioning back in the '90s. I was there, and it was good. It was great, but you know, and it was great when Phil Heath did it. It was great when Sean Roden won. It was, I have pictures where I'm like, damn, my conditioning when I did Masters Olympia was fucking gnarly. But is it better than is it any better or worse now? No, like it's not any worse now. I think you have a bigger talent pool. Back then, if you were doing a show, you might win $10,000. Now you got guys winning 100 something thousand, 750,000. That was unheard of. The Arnold Classic and the Olympia was $130,000, as opposed to almost $1 million now. So what is that going to do? It's going to water down the talent pool because you got more people, right? You got more shows now. Now peep this. If I wanted to be a pro when I was coming up, I had to be big enough to be a pro bodybuilder. Now I can do classic, I can do men's physique. Like you're seeing people mature as they turn throughout them being very young when they turn pro. It took me 4 years to turn pro. You know why? Because there were 60 guys in my class. Right? When I did the open heavyweights in 2006 nationals, there was 56 guys in my class. You didn't even get the pose if you weren't in the top 15. You come on stage, do your quarter turns, and they said, and from that, they let you do quarter turns, the front double bicep, back double bicep. And then they escorted you off. Do you know how good you had to be in that top 15? You got 56 guys in your class. That's not the nationals now because they're so watered down because a lot of the good guys are in classic and waiting to get bigger until they come into the open, right? But you didn't have that option back then. So I don't believe that people don't work as hard. I think they don't lift as hard, but I think that's a product of having more machines and being able to do more machines and more angles and all that kind of stuff. And I do believe there's a big difference between squatting on the barbell or squatting on a machine, deadlifting or doing chest supported rows. Like there is a big difference because your secondary muscles don't get that work. The primary muscle gets just as much work, but the secondary and stabilizing muscles do not get the same amount of work. And I see it all the time. A guy come to me from another coach and start training with me, we're like, this is too hard. Because I still put everybody through old school workouts. And people are like, oh, you don't have to work that hard. Yeah, well, your coach has never been on the Olympia stage. I have. Your coach has never done the Arnold. I have. And there's a reason. Because that thickness and density does not come from starting out on machines. You got to build a foundation before you start trying to shape something.
Absolutely. And also, I want to acknowledge your perspective because when I've never heard somebody explain it as in detail as you have. So thank you for that. I believe that's not talked about enough. Everybody just talks about comparing physique now and a physique back then, but nobody's ever explained it how everything is spread out by division, and we have just so many more divisions to look at, and that's why you see more people turning pro, more shows is why you see people turning pro. When you were coming from the bottom to the top, so from your very first show to the Olympia, what was your biggest why? What was your biggest why in bodybuilding from start to finish?
Well, initially it was just because, like I said, I just enjoy performing, and I was always a performer. And so when I had thought about being a professional dancer, you can't really be big and do that, you know? Like I was doing ballet and I looked awkward because I was too muscular, even though I was only 190 pounds. And then when I was powerlifting, I loved it and I was doing really well. Like, I mean, I was winning everything. And we were coming from a Division III school, Salisbury State University, and beating guys from Texas A&M and University of Alabama and stuff like that. So my coach at the time was Dave Nettles. He's like, man, you're going to be one of the best. But then when I got out of college and I made the world team, we were going to Slovakia. I just didn't, it wasn't fun training without a team. So then I kind of moved into bodybuilding, and bodybuilding was one of those things where it was like, it was kind of cool to have abs. It was cool to look good. And, you know, when I was younger, the diet was like, it was hard, but I mean, like I was a wrestler. I did football, like everything you do that's worth doing is hard. So that never really bothered me. And so I just kind of like, oh, I like doing bodybuilding, I like performing. And I was kind of treating it like a hobby. And then in 2006, I separated my wrist really bad. And I went to the doctors and they were like, you either can tear it. This is back then. You can either tear it or you can just lift lightly. But if you tear it, we can repair it and then you'll be cool. Or you can just always lift a little lighter and always wear support. And I was kind of like, I don't really like either of those options. So I kind of rehabbed it myself. But what happened was I said, you know what? This thing can be taken away from me. And at the time, I owned Gold's Gym and it wasn't doing that great. I mean, I was freaking broke. And I was like, you know, I owned Gold's Gym at a training company. It was like, it wasn't like I was broke because I couldn't afford to pay like a couple thousand a month. I was broke because my overhead for the gym was like 40K. And it's just a huge nut to have to meet every month. You know what I mean? So I was broke at a different level. But I said, you know, I need to get serious about this. So when I shut my gym down, went over to where I started doing personal training and just exclusively focusing on that, it gave me the opportunity not to have the stress of the financial stress of the gym and be able to focus a little more on what I was doing. I was like, let me just see how far I can go. And I promised my wife at the time, give me 4 years. If I don't turn pro in 4 years, I'm done. And part of that was my dad challenged me and said, why are you playing with this? Like, this is, you got a family, you got kids. Like, why are you playing with this? Like, focus, get serious, make some money, take care of your family. And I said to him, I pulled up a picture of Dexter Jackson on his computer. I put mine next to it from me doing the North American 2007. And I was like, do you not see the symmetry? It's pretty close. And so then I ended up promising my family, promising him that I was going to put everything into it. And I did the USA in 2009 and got third. And I was like, oh man, this is great. I got the magazine articles. Everybody knew me. It was just awesome. And then I came back and knew I was going to win the 2009 Nationals and got food poisoning the night before. So that put me in third again because I was flat. We couldn't fill back out. And then in 2010, I let the shit get to my head and was enjoying life too much and came back. My coach was like, you're freaking fat, bro. Like, what are you doing? And I was like 278 and we had to cut all the way down to 226. So needless to say,
Oh shit.
needless to say, I was thick. Like I got backstage and everybody's like, are you a super heavy? And I'm like, no, but I couldn't get quite as lean. So then 2010 by the Nationals, everything worked out. I dialed it in. It was straight ones across the board for me. And also what happened was Flex Magazine signed Juan Morel. What's the other guy's name? Another guy they signed, and they signed Tamer, and they didn't sign me, and I was pissed. So I was training like I'm going to show them. And it worked out, you know, it worked out.
Yeah, doing bodybuilding for your family is a different type of motivation. I feel like it's the only type of motivation where it's both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Yeah, grinding for your family is something not a lot of people get to feel, because it is a selfish sport. A lot of, single guys do it. A lot of people with girlfriends, but not like too much responsibility. But
Yeah.
um, I mean,
When I
I remember.
when I won
Go
the
ahead.
nationals, bro, when I won the nationals, um, my son Christian was a year and 2 months, so he was 14 months old, and my daughter was born 2 months later. So my wife at the time, um, you know, we're not married any longer, but we're still very cool. She was a great support system for me. And I tell everybody she's the reason I turned pro because key moment, 2008, I'm getting ready for it's off season and we're at a family reunion or about to go to a family reunion. And I'm like, she's like, are you going to pack your meals? I'm like, I eat whatever I want to eat when I'm up there. I don't have a show for at least 4 months, 5 months, 5 months. And she was like, I don't think people that are trying to turn pro eat like that. I think they stay more focused. And I I said, yeah, whatever. But what was cool was when I came home that night, she had packed all my meals for the weekend. And she was like, I just think if you really want to turn pro, you need to eat like this year round. And I'm like, damn. So, she held me to a higher standard. And that really helped me turn pro because when the woman that you're with at that time, that you love at that time, is challenging you to say, look, I'm here to support you, but I need you to do what you're supposed to do. What kind of man am I if I don't do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people don't have that. Um, so I locked in and she helped me lock in. And then from there, it was like little stuff happened along the way to constantly reinforce me wanting to be better. And I became friends with some other pros and that motivation from seeing them, like I coached Sean Roden when he turned pro and he would always, so him and I remained close until he died. And he would, I definitely miss him right before shows because he used to call me before every show. And, but I saw him turn pro and I was like, man, I can turn pro. I got to be able to turn pro. And then Mark Alvisi was a friend of mine and he turned pro. And I'm like, I want to turn pro. So it was all this, like that pressure of not achieving was eating at me, and I was like, I got to do it. And I told myself, if I'm 35 and not a pro, I got to be done. And literally the week after I turned 35, I turned pro. So, and as a pro, the problem is, and this is what I talk to guys about now, I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. I didn't say I want to win multiple pro shows. I said I wanted to win one, and I got two. I didn't say I wanted to win the Olympia. I said I wanted to go to the Olympia, and I got to three. Would have got four if I didn't almost die. So, like, the thing is, I said I wanted to be one of the best posers, and I achieved that. If I had to set the level higher, set the bar higher, then I would have achieved it. So what I talk to my young athletes about is don't put limits on yourself. If you say you want to be top six at Olympia, be top six at Olympia. If you want to say you want to win the Olympia, then do everything you can to win the Olympia. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But could you imagine if I said I want to win the Olympia, then maybe I would place top six at Olympia. Like it might have turned out different. But when you're shooting for a goal and you're at the bottom, it's a lot easier to be hungry than when you've already got some success and now you're trying to redefine your goals.
Yeah, you definitely became a product of your environment.
Yeah.
I know, I know. My ex definitely motivated me to become a better bodybuilder because she was weighing her food out more than me. She was on her treadmill in her house a lot more than I was.
Right. Right.
Calling me out on eating stuff I wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but being with her was the reason I was able to step on stage in the first place.
Right. Right.
Was her pushing me and pushing me and pushing me to walk the walk, not
Yeah.
just say I'm a bodybuilder but never compete.
Yeah.
So
Man,
I'll
that
always thank
support
her
is
for that.
everything. That support is everything. And it is so hard to get ready for something when the person that your heart's with is dragging you, is not encouraging you, but pulling it away from you, like that's a hard deal, man. Like when I did the 2023 Masters Olympia, I mean, that was absolutely the most conditioned I'd ever been. But a big part of that is like my wife now and I were in sync. And, like I'm doing cardio at midnight. She's sitting down there in a chair watching me do cardio. We're watching a movie together, like there was just no pushback. Everything was done together. And, we were on our way to Romania, bro. And I lose my luggage, I lose my food. And she just looks at me and goes, okay, well, you're in shape. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And that sense of calm kept me calm. So all the stress and everything didn't eat me up. Like it was an amazing experience because I was like, huh. Like, and in that situation, it's almost like you and your lady become inseparable, right? In that moment, because she's helping you do something that's like the impossible. So yeah, it was, but yeah, it was, I think I didn't go further. Like I did, like I said, I was very happy with my career. I had the sponsorship contracts. I had I made a lot of money guest posing, and I used that to do a lot of posing seminars, and my training business was thriving. So everything I wanted to accomplish, I accomplished. And one of the things I got to shout out to Branch Warren, I guest posed the show. And one of the things he told me was, don't let life pay for bodybuilding. Bodybuilding pays for bodybuilding, life pays for life. And because I was slacking off my training business, I had this contract with Premier Sports. I was getting guest posing gigs. Literally, I was out of the country more than I was in the country during the season. And we were doing really well. And I had that conversation with him, and it made me really save money, like really put money aside. And so I was able to keep bodybuilding fun. It didn't matter whether I did well or not at a show. I was always having fun. From a financial standpoint, like, I mean, I always wanted to win. I was very competitive, but from the financial end of things, it was like I wasn't doing it because I needed to make money. I was doing it because I still loved it. And that made bodybuilding real. It kept it fun for me, not so much pressure.
I definitely like learned to save money more recently over some like past events that have happened, but it I found myself in a place burnt out of bodybuilding a few months ago,
Yeah.
but I got my kick in the ass back and I started saving money, and I had to make a decision, like, what do I do with this money? Do I invest it, or do I invest in myself?
Right.
And that's how I'm able to do all of this, is take a risk,
Yeah.
invest in yourself, see where the cards fall.
Love that. Love that.
And to me, talking with pros like yourself, and I love bodybuilding, so like you guys are like celebrities to me. So like all the respect in the world just as a fan. But having opportunities to, go have this professional setup and like talk to pros like you, get your perspective, get your advice, and ultimately get your story.
Right.
And this is so far like one of the best investments I've ever made for myself, because this is fun for me. This is not even work. This is fun and pleasure for me.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate, man. Like, I never feel like I'm working. My kids all the time ask me, like, Dad, why do you work so much? And I was like, well, I don't really work. I do what I love to do. And because I'm doing what I love to do, it's so rewarding. So like when I'm not training somebody or not talking to somebody or not helping someone, it's like I feel a void, right? So when I'm getting a chance to coach somebody, I'm loving it, and it's still like very very fresh for me. Like I've been doing this since 1997. I trained my first person for a bodybuilding show in 1994, and she won the overall. And I get just as excited now when I have a client win the overall, and so it's I've been blessed to do what I love to do. But I also get super excited when a woman comes up to me who's working with me and she's like, I was able to walk on the beach with my husband for the first time in years because she's got lupus, and because of the way she's eating and the way we're strength training, she can now move without her joints being completely swollen, you know, and so it's just constant wins all the time for me, you know, like I truly love what I do. And, you know, like running the shows now, like I'm absolutely thrilled to have the opportunity, and I don't take it lightly.
What was your biggest win that hit you very emotionally and personally off stage? What was that biggest win for you?
Off stage, um, I was in a pretty dark place. I had not done a show since 2001 when I did the super body, and you know, I was almost 300 pounds. You know, I'm only 5'7", right, 5'8", so 300 pounds, that's kind of disgusting. And I was training people, but you know, like you know, I had already created a name for myself, so you know, nobody really cared what I looked like. And I just remember being like, you know, I wasn't in a marriage that was really that great. I you know, I just wasn't happy with myself. My gym wasn't doing well, my marriage wasn't that great. And I just remember when my daughter was born, my oldest daughter, it changed my life because I felt like I had purpose again, you know. And that was probably like the biggest moment where I was like, you can't feel sorry for yourself. You got somebody who depends on you, and it's your job to provide and take care of her. So from that point forward, and I got 4 kids now, from that point forward, it's never been a pity party. It's like always find out if something doesn't go your way, learn from it. If something's not right, um, if something feels like it's wrong, instead of shouting out what's wrong with every situation, try and figure out what's right with the situation and continue to learn. And that attitude has propelled me through a lot of things, pitfalls, a lot of things that have not gone my way. Because instead of crying about it, I just figure out, okay, what could I have done differently? God, what am I supposed to learn from this? And keep moving forward, you know. And it makes life fun. It makes life like I just got to figure out the next puzzle and I'll be good.
Was your biggest win finding your purpose as soon as your daughter was born, or doing that first show since that aha moment?
No, definitely my daughter, man. Like nothing compares to my children. My children are everything. Like, you know, you can take everything from me, but as long as my 4 children are healthy and doing well, I can figure it out. But you take their health away, there ain't nothing to figure out. Can you know, that's why I tell people like there's as long as my kids are good, there's really nothing you can throw at me that's gonna uh get me down too often, you know. So
And is that what you think about during like the hardest part of dieting for shows, getting as conditioned as you have?
uh when I was in the heart of my career, there was it wasn't about feeling bad. I think okay, so my first Arnold I did, this is pretty cool. I was working with George Farrer, and he had me look. I looked crazy for that first Arnold Classic in Ohio. I was very proud of that look. And you know, the world didn't really know me. I did the Olympia in 2012, but I looked like dog shit. And I was like, and I was on a redemption tour, man. I was just like, if you go and look at that interview I did with Jay Cutler backstage, like most people doing Olympia for the first time are so excited. I was like, I do not want to be here. Like I didn't look good. Like I was, you know, I look small. Like it just was not it, man. It was just not it. And you know, so when I got ready for the Arnold in 2013, it was like balls to the wall. I did workouts harder than I've ever done it. Like I was like, I'm going to show the world who I am, you know? And that moment right there was like, I did my routine on stage. The crowd stood up. You don't ever see that at a bodybuilding show. The crowd stood up, bro, and was like cheering for me. And Peter McGrath, who passed away, but he's a late great Peter McGrath, used to write for Flex, used to write for Ups and Relevant. He wrote this article, Fred or Smalls makes it big time. And it was like I went from no one knowing me to the next day having 2 photo shoot opportunities, guest posing, all you know, guest posing opportunities in my inbox. And it was like for a while, it was like every day was Christmas. I get on my email and like, who's emailing me now? You know, and it was just a great time to be alive. I was just loving, like, I mean, it's always a great time to be alive, but it's a great time in my career where I just felt like it's just win after win after win after win. Even if it wasn't like first place on stage, I was winning in what I was loving to do. And this is why I put all this hard effort. This is why I sacrificed. This is why I didn't cheat on my diet after Olympia. This is why, I stuck to the plan, did those crazy leg workouts because of this moment here. And it was like so rewarding. All worth it. All worth it.
Speaking of the phrase like worth it, the theme of the show is it's all rooted in the word axios, which means worthy, and axiom means truth. So a question I like to ask everyone is the moment you just talked about where every day felt like Christmas and um, all of a sudden you were, you know, not placing first place, but you were just stacking up wins, stacking up wins. Um, did when during that time did you get to like take a step back, breathe, take it all in, and say, "This is the moment. It was all worth it. All that suffering was worth it. All those bad times was worth it. I am worthy of every damn thing I have now." Did you experience a moment like that?
No, not when I was doing it. When I was doing it, it was like, I got to get better. I got to be better. It was like I got that best poser, and I was pissed that I didn't make the top six because I thought I deserved it. So then I started training immediately for the Arnold Brazil, and I was like, I'm gonna win this fucker. And then when I got fifth there, I was immediately angry and was like, but then at the same time, the next day I got my biggest guest posing appearance ever in Africa. And then it was like, from there, it was like, okay, I'm gonna go do the Dallas Pro. And then I hurt my rib when I was training. So I had to put it off. So I didn't end up doing the Olympia in 2013. But then Prague 2013, I did, I ended up placing top four. And like first place was Kai Green, second place was Dexter, third place was Branch Warren, and fourth was me. And fifth was William Bonac. Sixth was Tony Freeman. Lionel Becky in seventh. Like it was a star. Like all of us were studs, man. And what made it even better is George was training everybody in the top four, and George Farah was training everybody in the top four. It was freaking awesome. My biggest, it's my biggest payday at that time, and I was like, yeah, this is it, man. Like, and my mistake there, this is a mistake that people can learn from. I did that, and had I just kept my foot on the gas and kept going hard, we would have went into the 2014 Arnold and been in that top call out. But instead, I bullshitted. I took my family to Disney. We all hung out in Disney for a week. I come back, my coach is like, bro, you need to get together. You only have 13 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm like, what are you doing? And I I had signed with Premier Sports. They flew me out to LA. Everything's first class. Like we're doing LA Fit Expo. I'm 5 weeks out. At 5 weeks out, I should not be bowling with my team 1 a.m. in the morning and blowing cardio off the next morning. So, long story short, I go to the um, the Arnold and I get best poser again. But when I but I got dead last, beating guys beat me that had no business beating me. But I was small, I was flat, I hadn't trained, and then so then now I'm pissed again, right? So what do you think happens? 2 weeks later, I go to Australia and end up top six again because I got my head back in the game. I'm 100%. Then we go to Orlando, take top three, and it's like on and popping again. Like I'm in contention again because. So what I tell people is be happy but never satisfied. Recognize the blessings, but believe me, you're never staying the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There is no staying the same in life, right? So if you're not getting better, believe me, you're getting worse. So be happy, but never satisfied, and always keep thriving towards the why, right? Like keep thriving towards the why. And that was my mistake. My why was to do what I love to do, and I was doing it. And, it was like it took me having a setback to get refocused. When if my why had been to win, I would have never got unfocused.
Did you just need like a mental break during those time between shows?
No, I was just enjoying the stardom. I was like, you're talking about a time when it was social media was coming about, but the magazines still controlled everything. And me and my kids would go into the supermarket and go, let's see what magazine I'm in this month. And we go through it and we'd be looking at the magazines. So every bodybuilding show I went to, people were, there were fans. I'd be out at dinner in major markets and they'd be like I was in Philly eating dinner with my family and people were coming up to me. I'm at the movie theater, people coming up to me. I was, I was drinking my own Kool-Aid, man. I was like loving being a B-level star, and I was getting paid to be me. And, like I went to Finland and you're performing in Finland, you're performing in front of 10,000 people and you see them stand up for you, man. You start like, you get a warped perspective of who you are, You come
Hmm.
back home and your wife's like, take the trash out. You're like, what? It's like, oh, I'm not taking no damn trash out, And so it took me time to get adjusted and realize, look, man, these people, it's not real. Like they're loving you right now because your physique looks a certain way and they aspire to be there. But the minute you're not there, they're gonna be gone. The minute you're not that guy that they're hoping to look like, you're gonna be gone. So it's like, and I didn't and I think I took some of it for granted and I became satisfied, and it took me having setbacks to get refocused, like I go to 2014 Olympia, and in 2012, I was out of the top 15. So in 2014, when I was 12, I was excited. Yay, I'm 12. I'm not out of the 15. Right, I didn't get last. And then we go to the Arnold Europe. I mess up my supplements and end up flat as a pancake. Come back into Prague, and I should be pissed that I'm in 10th, but and I should be pissed in Arnold at the Arnold Spain that I'm not in the top 5. But Arnold on the spot created a best poser award for me, gave me this big gold medal and a check. That never happened. But he literally sat on stage and said it's the best routine I've ever seen. You know? So I think I was more excited about being an entertainer. Like,
That had to have felt good.
what? I was on cloud nine. Literally, there's a video of Phil Hayes standing on his feet clapping for me. Our Mr. Olympia is standing on his feet clapping for me. I was at the Arnold this year, and Jeremy Bendia goes, "When are you coming back? You always had the best routines." Like I don't get recognized as the best routines by like some of the historians because I didn't win enough. You know, but like they always say, you know, who do Kai Green is always the one everyone goes to. But I think if I had been at that level and top 3 at the Olympia and stuff, I would have been recognized as one of the best, And um, but like the one year I won my first posing award, Damn Charles was always a great poser. Marcus Haley was always a great poser, and I beat both of those guys to win best poser, and that was a cool experience for me. So I just think I didn't set the goals big enough.
Is there going to be a best poser award at your show?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Um, what was I gonna say? With your show coming up, and with all the experience you have under your belt, what is your biggest advice to everyone watching and listening, preparing for the Philly Iron Classic here in a few weeks?
Be consistent every day. It's not about being great on any one day. Just be good every day. Be on your diet 100%, because if you're not, you don't know what variables to change to make yourself better. And it's hard anyway, so might as well be perfect. Um, give max effort in everything you're doing. And when it gets tough and you're thinking of food, like no food is going to taste as good as looking great on stage, right? Like, and the food's going to be there when you're done. And if you're thinking to yourself, like, well, I'm new, I'm starting, everybody doing that show breathes the same air as you do. So you all have a shot to win.
Have you seen a few competitors make like peaking mistakes when it comes to changing their supplementation or even their training during those last 2 weeks or even peak week?
Yeah, I think a common mistake with training for a show when it comes to actually lifting is people lighten the weight for fear of getting hurt or fear of um, tearing something, or because they say, well, I'm not eating enough to recover. But the reality is, one, if you're enhanced, losing muscle is not a real thing. Like, you're not really going to lose muscle when you're enhanced. Two, your tendons have been training with you. You've been training your tendons to be strong and rigid and the entire prep. Like, you've been training heavy, so why change it? If you change it, all you're doing is risking losing density within the muscle. Um, that high rep stuff, like we've all proven that, science has proven it. The only thing that creates growth or a maintaining of the muscle is mechanical tension. So when you lift light, talking about detail, it's not creating detail. You're just creating a more depleted muscle. And so I think, you can bring more detail out with pose, pose, pose. I think a lot of guys don't pose enough. They spend all this time lifting in the gym, but they don't pose enough. So they can't display a physique that they've worked so hard to get to. Um, I think people use their um, lack of energy as an excuse to go lighter on cardio. Like, the other side of the coin is if I go really hard on this cardio, maybe I don't have to do as much, right? So maybe you're doing 2 hours of cardio because you're giving lackluster effort when you're doing the cardio. So, and if you have a good coach, they don't have a preset plan in their head anyway. They're doing it based on how you look. So, um, so I think just mental, be consistent and realize that being good in this sport is not about being mentally tough one time. It's about being able to be mentally tough day in and day out and be able to understand that you are required to do the most work on the least amount of energy.
Yeah, I think I've definitely seen a lot of coaches give like half the load to their athletes when it comes to the last 2 weeks. Like, oh, like risk of injury, go light, go light, go light. But I've all, you kind of reinforced what I already believed. Pose your ass off, lift heavy,
Yeah, I mean,
do the exact same thing that built you in the first place.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, and again, you don't have to go like I'm not saying do triple drop sets and stuff like that, like 2 weeks out. You're not building muscle at that point anyway. It's just about maintaining. So at that point, like to do a good set of 6 to 8 is going to create the necessary stimulus to maintain that muscle. Doing 15 to 20 at 60% of what you're capable of doing is doing nothing but depleting glycogen and making it hard to maintain the density in your physique.
So just a few straight sets at 100%.
Yeah, like like keep your load lower, like I mean your volume lower. Couple warm up sets, 2, 3 sets of 5 or 6 reps to warm up, and then everything you have, 1 rep short of failure into maybe 1 or 2 sets, 6 to 8, and move on to the next exercise. You don't need to be doing 24 work sets in a workout because you don't have the food to support it. So be more efficient, but still very intense.
You've given a lot of great information on the episode, and I just want to thank you again for just you being you and just passing down your knowledge to the newer generation. And of course, which is no small thing, you putting a show in the heart of King of Prussia, which is I think the best location a bodybuilding show can be because you have one of the biggest malls in America
Oh yeah,
for people to make a whole vacation out of it.
yeah. Well, like the goal is to get it in Philadelphia. But again, the show kind of fell in my lap. But I love the venue. I love the area. But we went and looked at live casino to put the show at next year. And I think that's going to be a real thing. And I think that's going to be an unbelievable event because it's easy to get to. There's free parking. There's restaurants in the casino. It's a great time all the way around. Like the stadiums are right there, the casino's lit, and the venue is phenomenal. Like the stage is already there. The ballroom's a little over 10,000 square feet, so many spaces for vendors, and it's something that we can continue to grow into a fitness festival year after year after year. So that's our game plan. Like it's my partner Chuck Danza, is who's like my brother. He's really helping me to make this possible because I'm new at promoting a show, but he's been running ballroom world championship ballroom championships competitions that sometimes host 1,300 athletes. Um, so to do this is very easy for him, and that's why I'm like, that's gave me the confidence to say, okay, I want two shows, and we're going to go after this thing because he has the expertise and I have the knowledge when it comes to the bodybuilding itself. So it's it's a great partnership, and we both have they both have the mindset that we want the athlete to walk away having an amazing experience.
And what amenities do you have like for the athletes? Like, is tanning going to be available?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we have Olympia tans. They can go to the website, sign up for their tanning, go to the website phillyironclassic.com and get their hair and makeup. We have it set up so that literally the stage is in the ball when you walk around the stage and down the steps, and you're right there where you're getting tanned and touched up. Backstage behind the stage where they're going to be pumping up. So logistically, everything's very easy this year for them to get. There's like no, it's not like they're having to walk down a hallway, up steps, or any of that nonsense. Like it's literally everything is right there, so it's very simple.
And who are the judge? Do you know the judges that are going to be coming to judge the event?
Yeah, Nikki Pelotti is our head judge, and then all the guys that always do the tri-state area, they're the ones judging the show. So yeah, so it's all the same characters that judge all the stuff for like the Lehigh and the Allentown shows. We don't really have a pick in that.
Yep. And for everyone that missed it, it's going to be at the Alloy Hotel,
April 19th.
um, April 19th.
Right.
Um, what time is everyone checking in?
Well, check-ins are Saturday night, starting at 6 o'clock. They go from 6 to 8 or 5:30 to 8. I'm sorry, and then the um, the competitors meeting starts at 8:30 on Sunday morning, and the show is going to start at 10.
Very, very nice.
And then we're
Um,
doing straight through format, so we'll have prejudging and an hour break, and then the night show. So
oh,
hopefully
very cool.
everything, yeah. So if everything goes well, everybody be on their way home, ready to eat some food. We'll start the after party about 6:30, and hopefully everyone will join with us. But I know people like to go and do their own thing. So if that's the case, they'll still have restaurants that are open.
Yeah. So between prejudging and finals, nobody go anywhere. It's only an hour break.
Right, 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 right. Yeah,
Yeah, I've been at a few shows where more than a few athletes missed their number.
yeah. Well, they shouldn't have that here. Like I have Lisa Kraus is going to be our head expediter. She's done a lot of shows used to do a lot of shows for Todd Howe before. Um, and Mike Kamdar is the one doing the DJing, and he's done the Arnold Classic before. So we have high quality people. Chris Vera is the one doing the photography. He did all my photography work going into the Olympia. So I am very excited about the crew I have working it. The crew that's going to be making sure the athletes are good, man. We're going to be on fire. And our awards are sick, bro. Like our medals are like the same size as the autoplastic medals.
I'll of course be there at the show to support. And I think what everyone wants to know is, are you guest posing?
Uh, no, I I've done. You know, when you guest pose, man, you're. Uh, I like to try and look pretty good, and if I'm doing that, I'm not focused on the athletes. So, I do have Noah Clark guest posing though. He's 70 years old, 71, just turned pro, looks amazing, and it's just like an complete inspiration for everybody that meets him. Man, I mean, like 71 years old and looks phenomenal, phenomenal.
Yeah, you don't see too many guest posings at amateur shows anymore.
Yeah, well, he's a client of mine. We turned pro this past year. We're getting ready for the World Championships this summer, and I just think it's like if you see this guy and you're not inspired, you're crazy because he looks absolutely sick for his age, and I mean, he could be 20 years younger and he'd still look amazing. So he's got great symmetry and he looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to supporting the show this year, and next year I will be there as a competitor myself.
Oh man, well, I really appreciate the support. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to get on here and talk about it. And if you know anyone looking to, we still have some openings. We have about 4 openings for vendors, table vendors, and we have about 3 spots for silver sponsors where you get your banner on the stage, right next to the backdrop, and everybody be seeing it. We'll put you on our social media and really promote the hell out of your business.
Yeah, I'm sure the vendors would really appreciate that. And something I want to do in the future, hopefully sometime soon, with this platform, is actually cover amateur shows, like
Yeah, awesome.
amateur shows within the area, looking at competitors' social media, who's a front runner, who's looking good, who's my top 6 predictions.
Yeah.
You know, treat it like a pro show, like who's coming in, who's the wild card, and just making it almost like a news coverage.
Yeah, like no different than what they do with like the minor leagues, right? So yeah, I feel you. It'd be great for bodybuilding.
Is there anything you want to say or like last minute promotions before we close out?
Yeah, man, we're gonna be in if you're in the Pennsylvania or New Jersey area, we will be the exclusive trainers in Fusion Gym opening in Woodbury, New Jersey. And again, shout out to my partner Chuck Danza. He's got the dance studios all through Exton and Philly. And you know, we're here at Diamond State Iron plugging away every day here in Delaware. And you know, if you guys need help posing, prep, any of that, just look me up at AB Physiques or IFBB Pro Fred Biggie Smalls.
I really appreciate you coming on again and like sharing your knowledge, sharing your story, and of course I see your Instagram stories. You're a follower of God as well.
Of course, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
do
Keeps
you?
me. I can't stay away from my vices without him. You know what I mean? You gotta think. And he blessed me so much. My God, like I just feel like I'm completely blessed from all angles, and most importantly, like I just feel like doing the work I get to do every day is really in his image, you know, being able to take care of people, being able to help them thrive to be their best. And I truly, I've been, like I said, I've been doing this since 1997 and I still love it.
Yeah, this I know every bodybuilder, especially every successful bodybuilder, and every prep sees God at one point.
God help me get through this night. I'm hungry. Let me get through this last set of squats. I want to stop. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
But thank you so much again for coming on my show, the Iron Axiom. Everybody, if you need coaching, especially if you don't have a coach going into the show or need somebody as a third eye. Of course, Fred Biggie Smalls is here to help. And this has been the Iron Axiom. God bless everyone.
Thanks for having me on, brother. Appreciate it.
Yep. God bless, brother. Have a
All
great
right.
day.
Bye.